Hi, welcome to the introduction to using your crystals. We're going to go over a lot of things. So the first thing is that when it comes to crystals, you need to always treat them as a friend. You need to be very gentle with them, store them appropriately, but there's a lot to do with crystals. So the first thing is that I am sending you crystals that have already been cleansed. Now, what does that mean? That means that they've already been cleared of any energy that they've soaked up and then are recharged for you to use. So you're going to have to do this as time goes on with your crystals. And to me, the best way to do this is to leave them out in the moonlight and then also throughout the next day so that the moonlight cleanses them and then the sun will recharge them. Now, some people say that it's best to do this on new moons or full moons, but you can do it actually whenever. One thing that you can do with your crystals is just to always leave them in a window so that the moonlight naturally cleanses them when you're not using them and then recharges them the next day with the sunlight. And I will show you different ways that you can do that. Another way that you can cleanse your crystals, like for example, if you need them for immediate use and they're just not feeling effective, is to run them under cold water. However, this is not always the best method because some crystals do not take well to water. They will erode. So that also brings us to the topic of natural stone versus polished stone. Now, personally, I like to use the unpolished stone more often just because it feels like it has a greater energy to me, but it doesn't mean that that's always the case. Now, you can use whatever helps you feel better, whatever feels most effective to you, whatever kind of vibration you feel coming off of your stones, off of your gemstones. I often use a combination of the two. So I will walk you through a couple of things here in the next few minutes in this video. Now, it may be hard to see with the sun coming through the window, but one thing that I like to do is string some crystals together on copper wire because copper is a conductor, and then leave them in the window to hang. So then when my shades, see here, my shades are pulled back, what happens is that the moonlight will cleanse them daily, the sunlight will energize them, and then that energy that comes off of the crystals radiates throughout my home. Now, another thing here that you'll see is that I do leave crystals in the windowsill just so that they automatically charge in the moonlight, or clear in the moonlight, and then charge in the sunlight. And you'll see here that I do have a combination of a lot of different crystals. This would be an example of a raw stone. It hasn't been polished or anything. That's a rose quartz. And another example here with a citrine. But then here you'll see my hematite stone has been polished and cleansed, polished and tumbled, as with this one here, or with this guy, with my turquoise. So it doesn't really matter what you choose to use. You can use a combination of all of them. They all have different specific uses and meanings. Another thing that you want to pay attention to here with your crystals is that they all have different end points on them. Some of them are just smooth and round, but then others have points on them, okay? And the points help you to direct energy towards a certain location. Now this one here, you can see how it has 2 points. So these are good when you are working on soulmate energies. This would be the 2 people here, okay? A soulmate or a twin flame. Now, you'll hear me talking about crystal clusters, and a good example of that would be like this one, an amethyst. So when you make crystal grids, oftentimes people put these in the center of their grid, but you can do this however you like. Amethyst is a common choice, as is quartz, just because they are sort of all-purpose and conductors of energy. As you can see here, this one is an enormous citrine and has a point on it, so you could use that as well. However, wherever the point is facing is where you're directing the energy, so that's something to keep in mind. As you've noticed, this tray that I have these sitting on is a mirror. Now, you don't need to set your crystals on a mirror by any means. However, it does amplify the energy and make it stronger. You could also use a piece of tin foil. Now, hematite is one of my favorite stones. And how can you use it? Well, you can just hold it in your hand like this and let it absorb up any negative energy that you have, okay? You can rub it as a worry stone. And then a really great place to put it would be in your pocket, just because it correlates to the root chakra, which is right down there by your pocket. And that will help absorb any negative energy. Another place that I tend to put this stone is in my car, because I'm a horrible driver. And what it does is it's not only does it suck up negative energy, but it also is a protective stone. And so I will show you how I've placed these other places in my home. Now, it's challenging to see, but just above that window there, above my front door, there is a tiny little hematite stone there. Now, I'm going to be very bold and walk the banister, so maybe you can see that tiny little stone right there. And the reason why I put it in the window instead of directly above the door is so that I don't have to remove it all the time to cleanse it and then recharge it. It automatically does that by itself, but then it keeps negative people from coming in the home, or kind of banishes that energy from them as they enter. On occasion, you may hear me talking about crystal wands. Now, crystal wands can be much larger, but I like these little ones just because they're easier to manage in my hand. It doesn't make you a sorcerer or a wizard or a witch or a warlock by any means to have one. You're not casting spells. It just helps you direct the energy of the crystals, okay? Now, I really love having a rose quartz as a normal one, like as a standard use type of wand. And the reason why I like this one is because it is a crystal of love energy. And if we infuse love into everything that we do, we have much better results, don't we? But you can use whatever you like. Another popular example is selenite. So I'll show you how you might use these. I don't know if you just saw that little angel orb fly by right here. Kind of cool. And I do personally work with angels as I use my crystals, but you can use whatever type of energy you would like. However, they will not work for evil. Okay, so here's an example of how you might create a crystal grid, and there is not a wrong or incorrect way to do this. But before I get started, where in the world did I put my crystal wands? Okay, hold on. Found it. Sorry. Okay. So in this specific instance, what I'm going to do is to create one for building wealth or job success, just because that's something that resonates for everyone. Some people aren't looking for love, although that's a common one, but you can do it however you'd like. So anything that has quartz on it or is like kind of a cluster is a good center stone. Now, this one's particularly good for money because anything that has any type of metal on it, any gold tone metal, is going to help you attract wealth. Now, I do want to point out just an example of how sometimes I do use raw stones. That's a citrine, but then this is also a tumbled citrine. So you can see the difference, although they're similar in color. And you just sort of place stones around wherever you'd like. Now, as I mentioned, I tend to put in rose quartz. So whatever feels good for you, wherever you feel like is a good position, go ahead and place those. Hematite is my favorite protective stone, so I like to place those in all of my grids, but you can do this however you like. Just gonna put a few more citrines around here. Another great stone for attracting wealth is actually fool's gold, believe it or not. Now, you see what I'm doing over here in the corner? I kind of created a line here, okay? Citrine and fool's gold together. Every stone will work with another stone. Like, nothing is going to mute another one's energy. In fact, it can just be amplified. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm gonna put the citrine over here, maybe some more fool's gold right here. However they fit and feel good to you is just fine. Now, here's the thing that you do. You always start in the center and kind of just point your crystal wand in the center, and then you ask, I tend to ask beings of light and love, but you could ask God, angels, spirit guide, but make sure that it's positive energy, okay? To help you to energize and bless these crystals. So you just go straight from the center up to the first stone and make a triangle coming back, connecting to the next stone. Okay, you see what I'm doing here? Angels of light and love, please energize and charge these crystals so that each of their magnetic qualities, radiates and blesses this home, helping to attract wealth and love and protection and dispelling negative energy. You don't actually have to know what the crystals do. You just ask that their properties be expressed, okay? And so you just go around in a circle here and there until you feel good about it. And then you just say thank you and set your wand down. Now here's how you can tell if it's working or not. What you're going to do is close your eyes and just kind of coast your hand across the top. And if you do this slowly, you'll feel energy coming off of the center stone, and then open your eyes and there's where your hand will be. Now, this energy is kind of shifting towards me here just because of the way that the points are going. So that's important that you want the points to point in the direction where you'd like to have them. Now, some people feel this as a tingle. Some people feel it as a cool air. Some people feel it as a warm air. Personally, I usually feel it cold, but as I do this and then I say, hey, come over here, check this out, a lot of people will feel it as a warm tingle. So however you feel it isn't wrong. You might feel it as a pressure on your hand. There's not a wrong way to do it. One important thing to note, though, is that if the grid gets disturbed, shaken up, moved, then you have to reset it. So you want to be putting these in places where they feel like they will not get disturbed. Okay, so other ways that you can use your crystal energy is to put specific crystals wherever, with whichever chakra they're aligned with. So amethyst, purple, it would go on your third eye chakra. So you just set that right there, and as you nap, as you meditate, you can put them under your pillow. You can put crystals under your bed. You can put them on your desk at work to attract whatever it is. You don't actually have to use a wand or create a grid to have them help you out. They just need to be around in your presence. You don't even have to touch them. So I hope that you found this helpful. I will be creating more videos on alternate ways to use your crystals, but in the meantime, I hope this was a good start for you, and good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.